Hey crafters, it's me, Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and it's Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for another Bestie Share. So I have my little Lula Belle here, and she is a half face, totally cute, and I put her on this cute little bag, and it says, I heart you. So I cut this out with my Cameo, and then all I had to do was put it together, and so it came with these cute little handles. And it has this little heart cut out, and I went ahead and did a little spring, and I colored her up. I think she's adorable. So if you want this specific digi, I will link her down below so you can get her. And if you want to stay tuned, I will show you a little bit of a process of how I did another Besties as an added bonus. So I have this cute little bestie. She's sitting on a little latte cup and has some little hearts coming up here. And I am part of a cancer group where I send cards to cancer patients. And I really want to put this on a card, and I want the sentiment to say, I've been thinking about you a lot. You want to brighten their day as much as you can, and so I think this would be really, really fun. So I went ahead and I picked out a couple of pieces of paper from this paper pad, which is, it's called the Random Collection, which is perfect for me because I'm quite random, aren't I? And I just picked out these 3 sheets because I thought they went really well with the way I colored her. The only color it's missing is the purple, but I think it's going to be just fine. So I'm going to show you how I do this without cutting every piece on my Cameo silhouette. I just go ahead and eyeball it. I think I want this as my background, and I want a little bit of an edge, so I go ahead and mark this with my fingernail about where I want it to cut, and I want it to come all the way down to the bottom, so I'm going to mark this edge right here with my fingernail, and that's what I'm going to go by. I'm going to put it into my trimmer, and I'm going to look for those marks. I'm going to put that little fingernail mark right on where the trimmer mark lines up, right there, right in there. And then go ahead and cut that down. And then the same with the one on this side. I'm going to look for that little shiny fingernail mark that I made. I'm going to line that up in the cutter. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And then I just line it up and see if I got a good match. And I think it does. I think it fits really well. And then I use that as my template if I want to make one smaller or one larger and that type of a thing. So I'm thinking that that would look really good with that in the background, just the green there. And I want some of this flowery stuff across these 2 panels, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for that. I'm going to put this on here, line it up, give myself a little tick mark about where it's ending, and then cut a little bit more off than that. So this time I'm just going to line it up and cut. I'm not going to try to make sure it's in camera, or I hope you can see most of it though. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Okay, let's see how close we came out on that piece. A little bit too big, so I'm going to do a little bit of trimming on that. Cut it down a tad, and then I'll use that as a template to make the other one. When it gets down to ones that are this tiny, where I'm trimming stuff off, if I can't get it into my trimmer, I might just take my scissors and eyeball it. That looks pretty good, and then I'll go ahead and cut the end off. Just with my scissors like this, because you probably won't see that underneath there anyway. Just want to make sure it looks good at the top. And then I have almost enough there, not quite. I'm going to go ahead and use this to cut off another piece the same size for the other side. And those fit really well there. Now I have a little bit of this yellow that I really want to incorporate because it's got some of the yellow in what I've already colored on her. And I'm thinking maybe that could go across the bottom, but how about if we do like a cut border? I think that'd be really cute. I really like this one, so let's go ahead and try that and see how it looks. I mean, if you don't like the look of something, you can always change it and pick a different one, right? You're never tied down to what you pick until you actually decide to glue it down. Okay, I'm just going to trim that off and we'll see what we got. I keep my garbage can just below me, so when I swipe things off the table this way, they go right in the garbage can. So easy to have around. The only thing you have to make sure of is that when you're doing that, you're not accidentally swiping things into the garbage you don't want to go in. Alright, if I have this all the way down like that, and I put this across the top here, I think that'll work. Some of the brown is still showing through. I'm okay with that, because the brown is part of the color scheme anyhow. Although I could have cut a little bit higher up on that yellow. But I like that. I think that'll be cute. So let's go with that. Let's make a little commitment here and put some of this down. I love this green. I don't know if the camera is picking it up. Can you see all of the texture in that? That's the only reason I didn't choose to do a dry embossing of this background, because usually I do. Okay, flip this over, and then I can take my scissors and just trim off that extra stuff that I don't need. Okay. That looks pretty good. And now for the sentiment, I think I'm going to probably add a couple of other little doodads and things to make this a little more fancy. But I'm going to add something on the inside, like right here for the sentiment. So I'm going to want to maybe, I like this yellow, since we didn't use a lot of that, I'll put that on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and cut something down to add in there. Here is the piece that I decided to cut, and that's going to go on the inside for the sentiment. I just used my Cameo for that. Totally handy. If you don't have that, you can use a die cutter, or you can use a template from online and trace and cut. Whatever you need to do with whatever supplies you have. And then she's already pop dotted, so I'm not going to pop dot the whole coffee cup and all that. But let's pull out some of the things that I have laying around that are already pre-cut that I might be able to add onto here. I do this a lot. I pre-cut things. When I'm cutting something, I cut a bunch of them, and I put them in a bag, and I save them for later on, so then I can pull them out and go, maybe I want to add that to one of my projects. So this one, this is like a bunch of leaves. I just wanted to see if that would... No, it just doesn't match. The color doesn't match for this particular one. I'm not going to go with any of those. Let's see, I got another bag. This one has a couple of butterflies that might go well with this. Let's pull them out. Those might be kind of cute. Pull out a little bit of the tans and browns in the cup. I like that. Let's ink those up a little bit though with something darker brown. This is a Close to Cocoa Stampin' Up! Ink pad. Oh, I just dropped my little guy. Close to Cocoa. And I'm just going to go ahead and ink these up on the edges, make them stand out a little bit more. I'm trying out a whole new way of doing videos today, just in a different spot in my crafty little place here, so I might need to do some tweaking on this. I might need to make my videos a little closer, or so always feel free. If you notice something different or something you don't like, or something you do like for that matter, let me know so that I can stick with that, because there's nothing more frustrating than watching a bunch of videos and not being able to see what they're working on. I think that turned out really cute. Let's go ahead and commit to locking her down to where I have her. So that then we can put these little butterflies where we want them. I'm going to use wet adhesive for those in case I don't like the exact placement. I have a few seconds to move them around. And I know once I put them on there, they're going to stay. That looks so cute, doesn't it? Really cute. I think I'm going to want something in the middle of those butterflies, though. Let me think about that. I pulled out some light blue bling because of this light blue paper in the background, and I thought that might be kind of cute. But I'm not so sure about that. So then I just went ahead and grabbed the pearls, because I think the pearls will go really well with that. I can always color the pearls with my alcohol markers as well if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and put those on. I just used the end of my sticky tool. This one is called a Quick Cuts Quick Stick. You can use the end of anything, really. You can use the end of a pokey tool if you've got one of those. Sometimes this works really well, and other times I struggle with it. So whatever works for you, whatever you have in your stash, that does the job. I think 2 on each one works out really well. I could do 3, but I accidentally got 2 there. That's cute. And then on the inside I'll probably put my sentiment. I'll probably just handwrite that. Thinking about you, a latte. So I hope you enjoyed that little short process tutorial kind of a deal. And as always, I'll see you guys next video.